All right, looks like the stream is live, but nothing is changing on YouTube yet. So I wonder if it's live on YouTube.
I think we're live on YouTube. I think maybe there's just a bit of a delay there, about 10
Ah,
seconds. But yeah, I think we're good to go, man.
makes sense. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first live stream before a free weekend. This is the first time we do this, so excuse us if we start to mumble or something like that. But yeah, we're happy to be here. We wanted to talk to you about a lot of stuff that has been going on at Vue School, and we have some really cool things to talk about. So, free weekend at Vue School basically is 48 hours during the weekend, the next weekend, which is tomorrow or today for some people, I think. So, it starts on Saturday and ends by the end of Sunday. And it's 48 hours of free premium courses on Vue School, which is really cool. Like
Free.
there are, yeah, there are many things that you can explore there. And I would say, considering the amount of content that we have on Vue School, it doesn't seem much time. So you need to plan carefully and you need to know exactly how to invest that time you have to learn the most and to get the most out of it. So let me see, how many do we have watching on YouTube? I see from my end 30. So, to buy ourselves some time, I'll introduce myself. I'm Mustafa, recently Director of Education at Vue School or Better Brains, leading the Vue School, mastering Nuxt, mastering Pinia, and more to come to provide the best exceptional educational experience. So, Daniel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Daniel Kelly. I've been with Vue School for about 4 years now. Go to events, speak at different events, get to man the booth at different events, and talk to people and get to know people in the community. Of course, I teach a lot of the courses at Vue School, which is why I am excited to be here on the stream with you because I've got the inside scoop. I know a lot about the courses we have to offer because I'm creating a lot of these courses we have to offer, right? But yeah, very glad to be here, Mustafa.
Awesome. Yeah, good to have you and good to be here as well. Just one thing before we start. I think that comments are disabled on YouTube. So,
I was wondering where to find those, and this is an
yeah.
important part of this stream. So,
Yeah.
how can we fix that?
Sorry, everyone. We're still figuring it out. Bear with us.
Okay, it says chat is disabled for the live stream. I was about to say, if anybody knows how to turn this on, let us know. Right?
Yeah.
That doesn't work. Okay. Chat is disabled for the live stream. You know what, Mustafa?
Mhm.
Would you like to I'm gonna see if I can figure the chat thing out.
Mhm.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about the masterclass or show us around any of the things you find interesting about that course?
Absolutely. So I'll share my screen.
Okay.
Put it on page, please. Cool. So this is the courses page in Vue School. And as I mentioned, and Daniel mentioned, we have a lot of content that's worth exploring during the free weekend. So I want to talk first about the masterclass. And this is our flagship course for Vue.js. And it says that it is 2024 edition, but I would definitely say that it's now can be considered as 2025 edition because it's up to date. All the text, all the tools that has been used there is up to date. So I used a lot of technologies in this one. So I would say that all of the official ecosystem has been utilized, like Vue Router and Pinia. I used the composition API with script setup. So it is really a course that is full of information and content that is helpful for any Vue.js developer of any level. But there is one thing that you need to consider before committing the 48 hours during the free weekend to the masterclass. It is a big course. Like it used to say here, how long does it take to complete it? But it is 12 or 13 hours course. So all of these lessons that you see right here are 12 or 13 hours course. So I would say you would need to pick exactly what you want to learn from it and start learning from there. The good thing that we have at Vue.js or Vue School is basically if you would like to jump at any point, let's say that you want to check this lesson out. So getting started with Faker.js. If you want to start from this lesson, you have the source code starting from this exact lesson in this branch. So this branch has the code for the entire project, but it has only posed or storing the code that this lesson contains. So you will be having the starting point where you start watching. So you will not feel behind. You will not feel that you're missing anything. All of the code that hasn't been implemented until the point that this lesson took place, you can start from there. So as I mentioned, it is a very long course, so you need to try to prepare before the free weekend. I would take a few hours or maybe just 1 hour investigating or having a look at the lessons, titles, and descriptions to see if I want to learn this or not. Like, for example, if I were someone who's still exploring Vue School and I joined this free weekend and I want to explore the course here, the masterclass, which is the flagship course, I would actually go there and check the chapter names. And from the chapter names, I have, for example, here, Bootstrap the app backend with Superbase. If this is something that is going to benefit me, if this is something that I'm trying to learn, I want to learn, I want to know more about this, and I use it at work or something like this, then I would know, okay, this chapter, I need to watch it during the free weekend. So I would just store this in a note or something. Free weekend, first thing, watch chapter number 3 in the masterclass. How long does it take? 1 hour. So you scheduled for yourself 1 hour that you are going to spend learning how to get started with Superbase and how to set up all of the awesome things here. So this is how I would go about a free weekend if I'm still exploring a premium course. If you want to know which, as Daniel asked, which lessons or which parts of the masterclass I think that is really, really helpful and insightful, I would say, where is it? It is the error handling. Let me look for it. Here we go. So the perfect technique for global error handling, it is kind of complicated because we are using TypeScript, and with TypeScript sometimes you struggle with types and so on. So you would find some lessons longer than the usual. So you have 10 minutes here, 7 minutes here, and so on. Basically, you will learn a lot about TypeScript, you will learn a lot about error handling and how errors move inside your Vue.js applications, how to handle them properly, and all of this. I enjoyed making this one so much because the errors are one of the most frustrating things to deal with in a project that you're working on. So this is one of the things that I would definitely advise people to explore. And there is one other thing, which is Pinia, and how to use Pinia to create loaders so that you can load your content more efficiently with caching and stale while revalidate and so on. Here in the CRUD operations, chapter number 8, you're going to see here that we're starting using Pinia for efficient data loading and caching. And here I'm not talking about just you're loading something simple or something like that. By the way, in every lesson, there is a download source code. I'm not sure if this is going to be available. Daniel can confirm that during the free weekend. But I clicked on it in order to go to the repository, which I think is public on our GitHub account. So check out Vue School, Vue.js Masterclass 2024 edition. And in this branch, which is related to the lesson that we are in, we can check out what we did with Pinia. So here we have stores and we have loaders directory. Inside the loaders directory, we have projects. So this is a simple loader. It doesn't have caching. It doesn't have stale while validate, nothing advanced about this, just few TypeScript things and a get projects method that is checking if the projects is empty, then early return. If it's not, then I need to fetch the projects and handle the errors and so on. But the beauty of it is that we don't stop there. We're using Vue use memoize utility in order to cache or to make sure that we don't request the same resource from the database twice. if the user already visited this page and this resource came back from the database. So here I'm going to the stores directory again for this lesson. And here you go. We have this constant defined. It set its value to use memorize, providing a key so that the utility knows that this data should be unique for that key. And this is how we also get the cached response later on. And we are awaiting for the query and firing the query and all of that beautiful things that Supabase SDK allows to do. So basically, what this do is that whenever the user visits, let's say, the projects page, then we send a request to the projects, to the database to get the projects. But after that, what happens is that if the user went to another page and then came back to the same page, we will not fire any additional requests to the database. It only fires once. So this is also so enjoyable to do because we implemented something similar to stale while validate behavior. So I promise you, there are a lot of valuable stuff that you can learn here, and you will enjoy it very, very much. So this is about the masterclass, and I wish I could tell you, leave comments about it. But Daniel, give us an update about this, please.
We can leave comments about it now. So apparently we made the stream only available for kids or something like that, but we should be good to go with the comments now. So flood some comments on there. Help us make sure this is working.
Awesome. So if you have any questions about anything that I just explained or anything related to the masterclass or the courses, please feel free to leave the comments in the chat. We are going to pick it from there and answer it immediately. You can ask about anything related to Vue School. So yeah, so that's about it for the masterclass. So Daniel, what new courses are available since the last free weekend? Because we do free weekend frequently. So what is the recent additions to the platform that previous free weekend registered people who are registered to previous free weekend can explore those?
Absolutely. So let's take a look at the courses on our courses page here. I think some of the ones we've added since the last free weekend include the Ultimate Guide to Vue Performance. We just finished this one up maybe about a month ago, but this is a really cool course because we dive deep into all the different ways you can optimize your Vue.js apps for performance. So there's things like tree shaking, which is like one of those low hanging fruits, right? I think a lot of people know about that already, but there's also things like how to pre-fetch lazily loaded components. I think a lot of people know kind of how to lazy load components, but pre-fetching those so that they're already available as soon as you need them, that's something I don't see a lot of people doing. So that's a pretty cool lesson there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not going too far into that right now. Let me actually answer your question. So this course right here, of course, the Nuxt 4, what's new in Nuxt 4 course we've released fairly recently. This JavaScript error handling course. It's a work in progress right now. We just released the first batch. This is really cool because it's not necessarily Vue focused, but it preps anyone who is looking to better their error handling abilities in Vue. This kind of preps you for that, and then we're going to release just in the next couple weeks a Vue-centered course on error handling. This complete guide to data fetching in Nuxt. This dives deep into all the different ways you can fetch data, all of the different caching strategies for fetching data with Nuxt, all of the different optimizations like parallel loading, parallel fetching of different requests. So that one's in there. And I think those are some of the main ones that I'd like to mention since last free weekend. I think fake data came since last free weekend. This Vue component design may have come since last free weekend, but that one might have snuck in there. Oh, this is a really nice one. We worked with the Tiny MCE team to create this course about rich text editing with Tiny MCE. I hadn't used Tiny MCE a whole lot before working on this course, but it's really pretty cool what you can do very quickly with that software. So go check those out.
I checked some of the snippets of or clips, I would say, from that course, and it looks like it can do a lot of cool stuff. Like I was really impressed. Like I didn't even think about it before, but when I saw you use it in those clips that I saw in the course, I felt like, wow, you can actually improve your efficiency while using TinyMC.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it was, it kind of it's at least for me, when I think of Tiny MCE, I think of just like a rich text editor, like a WYSIWYG, right?
Yeah.
But because they have this concept called, what was it called? Editable regions or something like this. But essentially, you can have like a kind of like a template, like a full HTML template, and then describe just which regions of that are editable.
Mm,
And so it can really be more than a WYSIWYG. It could be like a landing page builder or a page editor. It's
yeah.
really kind of cool how flexible it is.
Yeah. Sounds really impressive. And cool.
So
So
I
yeah,
see we do have a question in the chat from Winnie. What
yeah.
time zone does the 48 hours start and end? Mustafa, can you answer that for us?
I honestly don't know, but we can find out. Like,
I think it's CEST, which is Central European Standard Time,
mhm.
which is where kind of we're located out of. Alex, who created Vue School, lives in Amsterdam, so they do everything kind of on CEST time. So I think that's when everything starts.
Yeah,
Um, so it is what,
I
around 4
think
p.m.
wh-
It's 4 p.m.
what I
now,
know,
CEST.
what I know is that free weekend starts at 10 p.m. CET. 10 p.m. CET. Yeah,
Excellent.
that's when it will start.
Anna is on it.
Yeah. Cool. I went back to Slack to search through the messages to find out if anyone ever mentioned that. So I found it. Thanks, Anna, though. Cool. So, uh, what about you, Daniel? I like while you were fixing the comments. I was talking about if I were new to Vue School and if I have limited time of free resources for all of the advanced and premium courses there, how would I invest my time? So, same question.
Yeah, excellent. How would I invest my time? I would say if you are a beginner, you do have access to several courses for free already, like without the free weekend, right? So there is the Vue.js 3 fundamentals with the composition API course, which is always free. So don't go there, right?
Yeah,
Go ahead and
yeah,
do that, like, right. If you're brand new right now, like, go ahead and get that in before the free
yeah.
weekend. But then the Vue composables course. Let me do this. Let me open up our learning paths. So for brand new people, our learning path is Vue.js 3 fundamentals with the composition API, then Vue component fundamentals with the composition API. And both of those courses are free all the time. So I would go ahead and get those out of the way quickly, but then jump into these two courses, Vue component design and
Can you
Vue
share the screen,
composables.
Daniel?
Am I not sharing my screen? I'm not sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let's make that happen. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so here are our learning paths. This is the beginner learning path. So the Vue.js 3 fundamentals with the composition API and Vue component fundamentals with the composition API. These two courses are free all the time. So don't go ahead and get those out of the way now before 10 o'clock if you're brand new. And then you'll be able to jump into Vue component design and Vue composables for free. And both of these are just about an hour long. So you can definitely do both of these within that time frame, right? And you could almost get all the way through this beginner learning path within the free weekend. Now, not the full masterclass unless you like
Yeah.
binge like crazy. Please go to sleep at some point during the free weekend. But you could get through most of this path, right?
Yeah.
So that would be my suggestion for beginners. For those who are a little bit more advanced, have a little bit more experience under their belts, it depends on whether or not you like Nuxt or not. If you are a Nuxt fan, which I think you should be because it's really cool. But if you're a Nuxt
Absolutely.
fan, jump into Nuxt 4. What's new in Nuxt 4? It's really short, but gives you just kind of the key changes that come in Nuxt 4. Also, jump into, where was that Nuxt data fetching? Yeah, the complete guide to data fetching in Nuxt. This is going to be like, this is a really, really cool course. So in here, you can learn things like what the difference between use fetch, use async data, and $fetch are. Even if you've used Nuxt before, it actually might surprise you some of the different things, some of the different ways people use these wrong. We also
Mhm.
talk about making parallel requests in Nuxt. So I would definitely check this out if you're a Nuxt fan. If you're
Yeah.
not a Nuxt fan, I don't know. Probably Quasar is a really nice course. It's taught
100%.
by Luke De DeBold. I think I'm saying his name correctly. Um, he is an amazing teacher. Like he's so energetic and he really knows Quasar. Like this is what he
Yeah.
uses every day to build with. So that's a really great course to check out too.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Quasar, I mean, Luke, come on. You have to check that out. And I think Quasar, as popular as it is already, I think it deserves some more credit in the ecosystem. Like it's popular, people use it and rely on it and everything, but it deserves more. It is more than just a UI thing. It does wonders. You can create cross-functional web applications, mobile applications, desktop applications, all of that all at once in the same code base, which is crazy. And it's really accessible. Like I watched his talk at Vue.js Germany, and like he did it on stage. Like he created applications for cross-platforms applications on stage, which was crazy. Just few commands and bam, you have the application. You can inspect it, you can test it on your phone, you can test it on your desktop. It was really, really good. So Quasar, definitely worth checking if you are considering learning it. But I highly recommend it if you don't think that there is another course that might benefit you in your day-to-day work, then definitely check out Quasar. It's really awesome. But I think it's a long course as well. Like as I remember, that was a very long course. Like
Yeah, I
Luke
think it's around
really,
7 hours.
yeah, Luke really didn't get into the details of Quasar. So I think it's a Quasar masterclass, basically.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. Um,
Cool.
what other
So we have,
questions do we have here?
yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Daniel. You can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So Ryan asked, will the lesson video downloads be unlimited?
No, I don't think downloading is enabled during the free weekend.
For
Uh,
obvious
uh,
reasons, yeah.
yeah, obviously, you would spend the 48 hours downloading the old courses and videos and everything. So no, download is not available. But the good thing is that the repositories for those courses, most of them you'll find them public on the GitHub account.
Yeah.
So on the Vue School GitHub account, you can check it out and find the repository, and that will work. But downloading, I don't think it's gonna work. There is another question here. What are some of the more advanced courses you are planning to roll out in 2025? That's a good question.
That's a really good question. Number one,
Yeah,
I would say if you're looking for some different advanced courses, please let us know in the chat.
yeah,
Let us know what you're interested in watching. This because this is always one of the struggles with content creation, right?
yeah,
This mix of teaching kind of what you know, but also learning to teach what people want to learn. And
yeah,
oftentimes that means learning it yourself too, right? So
yeah.
it's always a struggle to know exactly what the audience wants to learn. So one of the
Yeah.
things that we've been discussing a little bit more of an advanced course is the Pina Colada. So
Mhm.
Pina has like this layer on top of it that is useful for fetching and managing data, and it's called Pina Colada. We've discussed adding something like that to the platform.
Mhm.
There are several masterclass related videos that we're
Mhm.
looking to put out in the near future. So supplements that we didn't necessarily get around to implementing every single thing in the masterclass we wanted to. So we're going to create some supplemented courses, such as um, teaching how to handle file uploads comprehensively in a Vue.js application.
Mhm.
That's one we're planning on starting very soon.
Mhm.
Um, the Vue.js error handling course that I was just talking about, I think is also a decently advanced topic as well, and that's coming out in just a couple weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah, as far as other options, we're we're flexible. We're what's the oh, how do we make it sound like we're doing the good and smart thing? Uh, Agile. We're agile. That's the word.
Yeah, we are agile. Cool. Yeah, Nathan is requesting using Nuxt and Capacitor to build a mobile app. That's a very good idea. I mean, we're definitely going to take a note of that. I mean, Nuxt is very accessible and it's easy to use, makes your lives easier. So if you can use that with to create mobile apps and it's actually production ready and stable, that will be super awesome. So definitely this is worth looking into. And there are a few resources online around using Nuxt 3, Nuxt 4 to create mobile. Yeah, absolutely. We will definitely look into this. And Nathan also says that he's interested in Pina Colada, but not sure it's needed or necessary when using Nuxt. I don't think it's going to be needed when using Nuxt. Like use fetch and use async data does most of the heavy lifting of fetching data. So far as I know about Pina Colada, I don't think I would ever give up using use fetch and use async data to use Pina Colada. Not yet, at least. Not until something like a big improvement, I would benefit from it. But I agree with you, Nathan. So before we move to another topic, I actually want to talk about something we have been doing lately. And in case you are following Vue School on Twitter or X and other social media accounts like LinkedIn, you will find us do some polls there. Like we're asking you whether you would like to see a course about this or a course about that. And we have some interesting results that I want to share here. To answer your question is about courses that we will have in 2025. So quickly, the total votes that we got for the polls that we made, we have few winners. So that would definitely be on the top of our list. And we're thinking about error handling in Vue. And that will definitely come next after the course that Daniel just showed, which is for JavaScript. So we will have another one for Vue.js, dedicated for Vue.js. And we also going to cover Nuxt UI because it won the poll, Nuxt Auth, SEO, Vue Performance, and so many other interesting courses. So if you see those balls, we are taking them seriously. Like we are taking them and then analyzing them, see which has the most votes, and we create content immediately. And Daniel here, the one that's sitting in front of you right now, is a content machine. Like he can create anything all the time. He just creates new content. So yeah, just answer our calls and leave us comments, leave us respond to our polls, and we will definitely pick it up from there. Cool.
Yeah.
So let's
That's a
get back
great
to
point, Mustafa. Y'all, if
yeah.
there's something you want to learn, like let us know on social because we want to know what you want to learn. That helps us a ton.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan says that he tried Nuxt with a capacitor to create mobile apps, and he did it, and it works like a charm. So that's definitely worth exploring. Thanks for sharing, Ryan. Cool. So let's get back to free weekend. Now, do you have any courses that you have worked on, or courses that you know of on Vue School that is about building a component library, because building a component library is not just for contributors to the ecosystem. You might be building a component library for your multi-web apps company or something. Like a company has many web applications and it wants to reuse their custom components through all of them. So yeah, do you have something in mind?
Yeah, great question, Mustafa. We do have a course dedicated to teaching how to create a component library, and let me go ahead and show you that. It's called, and it's kind of maybe misleading. Maybe we could have named it a little bit better, because some people come to it and say, "Oh, I don't really care about Daisy UI."
Yeah.
But the course is called Crafting a Custom Component Library with Vue and Daisy UI. We use Daisy UI in the course for like the aesthetic part of it, right? The design part of it. So you do learn some Daisy. But a lot of it is focused on how to create a component library that you can distribute through npm. So this could be something that that you do release publicly, or you can distribute it through npm, privately at your company. But basically, it teaches you how to build the components, kind of create them in a way that they're flexible with good design decisions, so that they can be used in different projects. But then also, teaches you how to, teaches you how to use Histoire for writing stories for your components. So let me just show you what this looks like. This is a very visual thing, and actually really super handy. So this is the running code base, the Histoire stories for the components we build in that course. So notice you're able to kind of get a nice little playground for all of the different components that you're creating, with different variations on those components. So these are all components that we build out during the course. Like, you have the opportunities to do this along with me. And like I said, you will learn some Daisy UI in the process, but Daisy UI is built on top of Tailwind. So you also learn some Tailwind in the process. And we all know how popular Tailwind is, right?
Yeah.
So
this looks so cool. Like, it looks really nice. It makes it super simple.
Yeah, man. And it's like, I mean, there's easy things like an avatar. This was actually like a little bit more complex than you might think, because it supports images, it supports different sizes, it supports placeholder, initials, whatever. And some of these things are straight up things that Daisy supports. So there wasn't like a ton of work on our side, but then there were other things where we had to kind of layer on top of Daisy just a little bit to make it a little bit more interesting. Such as, so this data table here is actually like pretty complex. It comes with sorting. So this is like a data table you would find in like the Vuetify library. Like, this is one of the in fact, this is one of the things that Vuetify delayed on, like, releasing their Vue 3 compatible thing on, was so that they could get the data table right. And they even still didn't have it completely ready for their Vue 3 compatible release. Now, obviously, this isn't quite as complex as what they had, but there's quite a bit of complexity actually in this thing, and it's very, like, it's easy to use, right? You have columns as an array. You can add different markup inside different slots in order to customize what's inside of the different cells for each row. So it's very real world. It's like like you're building a real world library.
Yeah, and also I noticed that sometimes when you are in a workshop or something, I see you craft things with Daisy UI all the time. Like, I remember some code bases that we worked on together during workshops or boot camps or anything like that, and I would see Daisy UI components here and there, and I would say, hey, Daniel really likes Daisy UI. So yeah,
I do.
cool.
It makes it easy. So I'm going to open up the Daisy UI website, and it's really hilarious, actually. Where is instead of yeah, so it says here, instead of writing 100 class names, and I'm scrolling, look at this cool like UI. Like, I'm scrolling right now, and it's putting all the class names on the button, which is pretty cool. This is
Yeah.
totally off topic, so I'm just amazed by this. But look, this is hilarious. Instead of writing 100 class names, use semantic class names. And I was when I first saw this, I was like, have you heard of Bootstrap?
Yeah.
But the more you work with it, the more you realize, yes, it's like Bootstrap, but it's tailored to work with all of the
Mhm.
all the utility classes for Tailwind. So it's
Yeah.
like it can pair with Tailwind like Bootstrap could not. So it's a
Mm.
really cool library.
Yeah, I agree. It's really nice. Like one of the things that you reminded me since we're talking about UI, one of the things is the masterclass. We are using ShadCN View. So this is another cool, I wouldn't say UI library. It is components factory. It generates your components and it give it to you. Can you share my screen, Daniel?
Absolutely.
So thanks. So right here, this chapter number 4, adding UI elegance with a style. We're getting started with ShadCN UI. And ShadCN UI is just beautiful. Let me show you what it can do. It can do stuff like this. I'm zoomed in already. So it can do stuff like this. You just run a command, and the command is going to add to your project the source code for the component that is doing this magic. So you want to have this calendar, for example. So we just fetch or get the calendar component itself and add it into your own project. And it is fully customizable. So you definitely have the right to change how this component reacts to events. How this component change, like you can completely change the behavior of the component, but you still get rid of all of the hassle that you have to go through so that you can end up with an actual calendar. It just works. So if you check out the components here, and let's see if this is, yeah, here's the calendar, for example. And this is going to show you a snippet of how the calendar is used. Like this is the preview of this code. And like you see here, it's super simple with TypeScript support and everything you need. And to get this calendar, you just run a command. And this command is going to add or inject this component source code into your project. So it's unlike any other UI library where you actually don't have access to change things. So to change some of the styles, you have to override them. Sometimes you do the important so that your CSS overrides the CSS of the UI library. And some UI libraries provide you with hooks or with some JavaScript object that you can change so that you can change the styles. But this is not the case with ShadCN. So I enjoyed this so much while working in the masterclass, and it's really cool. You should check it out, of course, if you have the time. And if you are interested enough, like I said, the masterclass is a huge course, so definitely check out also ShadCN here in this chapter. There is one thing just for you to note is that in this chapter, we are using ShadCN before Tailwind version 4 is out. So there is a little change here, but we haven't covered migrating from Tailwind 3 to Tailwind 4. This happened so quickly. Probably we are going to consider updating that. But I did update the videos to specify the versions on the video. So while you're watching, you're going to see a pop-up that is showing you which version I'm using so that you don't have any problems. Other than that, feel free to explore it. It's really cool, and you will enjoy ShadCN so much. Cool.
All right. So Mustafa, Ryan is asking, do you prefer Nuxt UI or ShadCN? I said, or Vue School said, because I'm logged in as Vue School. It's powerful. So I said I prefer ShadCN, mostly just because AI is so familiar with it. Like, so ShadCN Vue is modeled after the original ShadCN, which is for React, right? And AI is so very knowledgeable about it. It's hard to get AI to know about Nuxt UI so much. And so as much as I've been trying to optimize my workflow with AI, ShadCN is just felt a little bit better for me. What about you?
I think for me, it depends. it really depends on the complexity and the level of customization that I want in my project. So if I want my project to be super customized, I would go for Chassis N. Like I said, it gives you the source code and you just change it how you like. Change the styles, change the behavior, change the listeners, change whatever you want to change. You have the source code for this component and you are free to do whatever you want with it. So if my project is complex and needs a high level of customization, I would go for Chassis N, no questions asked. But if it's something that I want to craft quickly and get it up and running very quick without going through like without bloating maybe my code base, maybe I don't want any customization, so I don't want those components in my code base, I just want to use reusable components, then I would go for Nuxt UI, because you just have the component and it works, but you don't have the source code for it. So if I don't want to maintain my components or customize them, I would go for Nuxt UI, just to keep my components directory simple and straightforward. But other than that, if I want it high customizable, I would definitely go for Shatsian. And you really raised a good point. AI, like AI saves us tons of time. So AI knows Shatsian thanks to Shatsian React. So Shatsian Vue is also recognizable and a familiar face to AIs.
Sure.
By the way, speaking about AIs, I think we need to create a course about AI. Like, if someone doesn't know, we are starting a new AI thing and we're starting a new community about AI. So we are going to address AI for developers and AI for professionals as well. So for AIs for developers, maybe we will share the social media links in the chat. For AI for developers, we are actually aiming to help developers improve their skills in web development and development in general, coding in general, programming in general, using AI. It's not like you're going to be replaced by AI, but actually you're going to be more awesome and more of a good developer with the help of AI. So I was thinking that it's a good time in 2025 that we start working on a course of how you can code more quickly and complete more tasks and achieve more in a very short time using, let's say, Cursor AI with Vue.js and VS Code or something. So I think that would be a very interesting course to make. Didn't you think, Daniel?
Absolutely, and yes, that is definitely on the radar for sure. And it's it depends on how we distribute it through, because we are creating this new AI platform, and I'm sure the Vue School platform will get some love from that as well.
Yeah.
But while we're on the topic, let me come back on stage here with my screen and do mention that we do have a course. Oh, how am I going to find it on here? Chat bot. Here we go. We do have an AI chat bot with Vue.js and GPT-4 course. Now, this was created, I guess, almost a year ago now. So it's certainly been in free weekends before.
Yeah.
And it's not about enhancing your developer experience with AI. It's about integrating an AI REST API like OpenAI offers, or like Anthropic offers. It's about integrating those kinds of AI APIs into a Vue.js app. And during the app, we build an AI chatbot. So you can see explore, accept API, build your own AI. Yeah, let's see if we can just get a screenshot of it here. So you can see right here, we build like this little mini chat GPT essentially, where you can interact through your own UI. Now under the hood,
Mm.
it's just open API, right? It's just chat GPT under the hood, but you're building your own interface, and we kind of teach you how to train the AI a little bit to only respond to certain kinds of questions or respond to questions in a certain kind of way. So we do have some AI geared material on the platform. It's not released yesterday, so it is it is using an older version of the Open API GPT. But yeah, this is a great start, really, if you're looking to integrate AI into your apps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if It was a tweet that my brother added when ChatGPT was, I think it was down and people couldn't access it. And he was saying that he couldn't realize how many tools that we are using frequently goes down immediately as soon as ChatGPT goes down, because they are all using ChatGPT. So it's important to know how to use AI in your projects, because going forward, I believe, not going forward, I mean, currently, all of the tools that we have been using integrated AI already, like Asana, Slack, ClickUp, all of the tools that we use in our day-to-day job, it's using AI. So it's definitely going to be a high demand. And if you want to stay ahead in the market, definitely you would need to know how to interact with them, how to use the SDKs, how to do all sorts of stuff. And while we are on the topic as well, it's not related to free weekend as much, but also related to using AI and how to use AI with Vue. Mastering Nuxt 4, everyone. Mastering Nuxt 4 is right at the corner, and it's going to be released, I think, by the end of March. And it is basically, like I'm giving you now, a free early information. Probably I shouldn't have shared, but yeah, it's definitely going to include some AI in it, and you're gonna love it. Like you're going to build an application with AI and some other cool things on the way. So yeah, Mastering Nuxt 4, you should check that out.
I feel like this should be the meme, Mustafa, that we use to like promote. I guess we don't really need to promote this live stream after the fact, but like a meme of you going, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have shared," and then.
Yeah, probably.
So David asked about Prime View. I've heard a lot of good about Prime View, but I haven't used it myself. Mustafa, have you tried it?
Yeah, I have tried it a while, like tinkering with it. I haven't used it in anything serious, but it is really nice as well. I wrote an article about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote an article about it on Vue School. I'm finding it now as we speak. If I found it, I'll share the link.
Nice.
And yeah, I think it's super good. Like it's a really nice UI library for Vue, and they collaborated with us a lot in previous events as well. So definitely, it's worth checking out.
Cool. I can say on that topic though, if you're looking for something on Prime View video course wise during the free weekend, there isn't one.
Yeah, yeah.
So Ryan asks, will any full stack Nuxt app course be released in 2025 covering database integration and related topics? Yeah, great question, Ryan. On the actual Vue School platform, probably not, because we have the Mastering Nuxt course. And this is the whole point of that course, is to get you from ground zero in a Nuxt app to a fully fledged, realistic working application with the database hooked up, with the API endpoints fleshed out, with all the different fancy stuff. So Michael Thiessen is working on that now, a refresh of that right now as we speak.
Yep.
And to be honest, y'all, like this was kind of a tough decision on the Vue masterclass too, right? Wasn't it, Mustafa? It was like, should we just use Nuxt for the Vue masterclass?
Yeah. yeah, it's definitely a tough decision. But if you use Nuxt, it just makes your life easier, and you wouldn't teach a lot about Vue.js because it just takes care of most of the things. You just work and create and be more productive and so on, but it doesn't teach you Vue. You need to learn Vue and then learn Nuxt so that you become a better Nuxt developer. But you can, I believe that you cannot start with Nuxt and then do something with Vue.js. You would struggle somehow, maybe with Vue Router, because it takes care of all that. Maybe with some other features that Vue offers, but they offer for it some utility or helper functions that you can use. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, Mustafa, we have about 10 minutes left. I did want to just make sure I kind of prompt everybody to, if you have a question, go ahead and throw it in the chat. It can be about absolutely anything. What's the name of my dog? I don't care. But probably you want to know something more interesting than that. But if you have any questions at all about the free weekend, about what courses are available during the free weekend, what topics you want to learn about, or even if it's just something about Vue or Vue School in general, we would love, while we are here live with you, we would love to answer such questions. Number one, because they're super, I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't want to sound prideful, but I've been around the block with Vue, right? And so if there's any beginners in the chat, I would love to answer your questions about Vue. I think I can be very helpful. But also asking such questions also just really helps us out and to guide what content we make going forward. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew before we run out of time. Please, we're willing to answer any questions that you have.
Yeah. So, right. So now about the free weekend, as I mentioned, you need to plan this carefully. For the courses, feel free to check out the courses page before the free weekend. Don't wait until it starts so that you can explore then. No, you actually can now explore. You can have a look, make a plan, like I mentioned, make a plan of the things that you want to invest your time during the weekend learning. And I would prioritize it like this. If it's something related to my current work, like I use it in my day-to-day job, or something that has a high market demand, then I would prioritize it first. And then if I don't have any of that, then I would just go about the things that interesting for me the most. So try to plan ahead. Don't wait until it starts, because time will run out. Try to plan ahead. And after the free weekend ends, you will not be able to watch these premium courses anymore unless you upgrade your account. So feel free to consider that if you think that the content is really going to help you advance in your career and improve your skills in Vue.js and Nuxt and Pinia and all of the other cool stuff that we have. Yeah.
All right. So David asks or mentions here, I learned Vue I learned Vue from the docs, and coming from React, where would you rank me and which course path would you recommend? Okay, that's a very interesting question. Let me share my screen here. And let's go back to the learning paths. Oh dear.
Yep. Yeah, there is something going on.
Cloudflare, what is happening?
Yeah.
This is not okay. So let's just talk about it here for a moment. From memory. You rank which path would I recommend? So definitely not a beginner. I think if you learn from the Vue docs, you'd probably be pretty good. I would maybe go for the intermediate path, and I want to say the intermediate path takes you through. It starts out with the Vue.js masterclass, but that's probably too much for the free weekend. It would take you through Pinia. It would take you through fundamentals of TypeScript. It would also take you through using TypeScript with Vue.js. So to be honest, like I code Vue without TypeScript some for courses now, but I never code with Vue without TypeScript in like a real project nowadays.
Yeah.
So if you really want to, take your basic Vue knowledge to the next level in that intermediate path, it's really about learning TypeScript and making sure your Vue apps are type safe, because it's going to make things so much easier in the long run. But yeah, David, also, if you do already know the basics, maybe try your hand at a project would be kind of interesting and fun. There's a couple project learning paths there as well, project-based learning paths. One of them is about making a drag and drop Trello clone. And it's really cool. Like you can drag and drop the tasks between the different columns. You can drag and drop the columns. You can edit column names. So it's very robust little application, actually. I would suggest trying that out. Yeah.
And actually, learning from the docs is good. Like the Vue.js docs is like, I could say it's the most through or the most complete and easy to follow docs I've seen for front end
Yeah, they're really
framework. Yeah, it's really written in details and really good. But I would like to add something is that the courses that we have at Vue School is going to be much different from the docs because we're actually building something. Like we're not teaching fundamentals, and that's it. I'm not talking about the fundamentals. It's teaching fundamentals. But most of the other courses, like Trello clones and all of the other courses similar to that one, is building real world application or features with Vue.js. So putting the pieces together is something that you are going to notice that's very helpful. And even though that you came from React, I mean, this is definitely is gonna make you faster learner, like than someone just getting started in coding, because Vue or React or any front-end framework is basically just helping you with JavaScript. You know, it's just a helping hand to make you do JavaScript quicker and so on. So you will find most of the concepts similar. It's only the syntax and the implementation and how it works under the hood is different. But a lot of things are easier in Vue.js. So you just be surprised how easy it is compared to React. But at the same time, you will notice similarities, and those courses on Vue School are going to help you link those similarities. Like you're going to see those things that you learned in the code, in the documentation, put into real world implementations and how this is similar to React. So you will learn them quicker. So I would say, since you have a React experience and you already have the basic knowledge, try to go through the masterclass during the weekend. It's impossible to finish it during the weekend unless you drop sleeping, drop eating, drop everything. But I think you will try, like you will finish a big portion of it due to your experience already. And at the same time, like I said, if you think that this is helpful, if you think that this platform is going to help you advance in your career and so on, I would recommend that you just give it a try, maybe for a premium month or something, and see if this continues to help you, then continue with it. If it doesn't, then just cancel the subscription or something. This is just a recommendation in case you found it during the free weekend that it is going to help you.
absolutely.
I think we have another question here from Hanlin. He asks, I have a few 5-year-old Vue 2 projects and I want to update them to Vue 3. How do I quickly get up to speed with the latest and greatest? What do you think, Daniel?
So we do have a course. Let me share my screen again here. Oh, no, let me not. Video courses. Yeah, I think are we back? Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
Great. So video course wise, the biggest difference obviously between Vue 2 and Vue 3 is the adoption of the composition API. So if you are already familiar with the options API, then I do suggest maybe this course right here, Vue 3 composition API, because it kind of comes from the perspective of someone who already knows options API and is looking to learn composition. So that would be a good course. What's new? No, Vue 3. Let's see, new. There is also a What's New in Vue 3 course. Now, it's a little bit dated at this point because Vue 3 did come out quite a while ago, right? But it does. It literally goes through and tells you what's different between, Vue 3 and Vue 2. So that might be a good option for you as well. And then for all of our like basic courses, so the fundamentals, you'll notice that all of our fundamentals courses have a Vue.js 3 fundamentals with the composition API or with the options API. So one thing you could do is, if you're coming from the options API, is come to one of the fundamentals composition API courses. And this is going to kind of help you make that transition between options and composition API.
Yeah, and we also have an article I wrote about whether it's worth it to actually migrate from options API to composition API and what are the benefits from something like that and so on. I'm trying to find it now. Vue School, just one moment. Options API, composition API. Yep, I just found it. So basically here I am talking about options API and composition API and whether it's worth it to learn it or not. I'm not sure why doesn't allow me to share links in YouTube. But
Oh,
anyway, you'll find it in our blog. It's called From Vue.js Options API to Composition API. Is it worth it? And my opinion in that one is that you can keep using Options API if you are in that transition from like Vue 2 to Vue 3 or something like that. Keep using the Options API to make it easier for yourself, like less things to migrate over. Because changing from Options API to Composition API is a change, like a big change. You drop all of the script tag and you add setup and you add maybe TypeScript and so on. So it will change definitely the syntax and how your code is written. So if you would ask me about general advice about migrating that, because I have huge experience there, migrating from Vue 2 to Vue 3, I would definitely say stay with Options API during the migration so that you don't have to bother yourself migrating to Composition API, and stick to one thing at a time. Like take everything at a time on its own, try to make it work. Have the Vue.js deprecation page. I think for it's on Vue 3 deprecated. Let me have a look. Breaking changes, the migration guide on Vue.js. So I also don't know why can't I share the link, but you can search on Google. It is Vue 3 migration Vue.js.org, and you will find the page there. It has all the breaking changes. So stick them step by step along the your project, and you will get there. Like it's gonna happen, but it takes time. Stick with Options API, and then migrate to Composition later.
nice. Yeah. And to be honest, it's like if you got some components that are already working in Options API and you don't have to like update them, just don't. Like it'll continue
Yeah,
to work in the same project alongside your Composition API.
yeah,
Like I think you're going to benefit from moving to Composition API moving forward, but you don't necessarily have to change all the old stuff over. Um,
yeah.
we also
Agreed.
have a workshop dedicated to this topic. So check out the Vue School workshops page on our website. And I'm not sure if we're offering that anytime soon, but you can check out the workshops page, and we might have something on that in the near future.
Yeah,
Man, Mustafa, I feel like we're getting all the questions right here at the end. So
yeah.
we're gonna push it just a little bit further. Let's get through these questions. How about it?
Yep. Let's do that.
Awesome. All right. So next question we have is Rich Busen says, what are the use cases where you would use Vue instead of Nuxt, given that Nuxt can render SPAs? Any
Hmm.
thoughts on that, Mustafa?
That's a good question. Mostly, whenever I want to create any Vue project now, I use Nuxt, like without thinking. Like I just use Nuxt in almost everything. But if I want to be philosophical about it, if that's how we pronounce that, but I would say um, Nuxt has a lot of helper tools, a lot of utilities, and a lot of cool features here and there. And it's really good when it comes to dropping the things that you don't use. So it's smart about what it's importing, what's not importing, and so on. But I would think that if I have a project, for example, that is asking me to create a dashboard, internal dashboard, nothing fancy included, just a dashboard showing some stuff, I would go for Vue. Like if it's something internal for internal use, doesn't include a lot of work that I will get from Nuxt. Like I don't need that much of help when it comes to routing. I don't need to use any of the utilities that's been there. I don't need to use any kind of anything related to Nitro and the amazing things that Nitro has and the amazing features that Nuxt offers. I would definitely go for Vue, but I haven't come across a project like that recently to build on my own. So recently, all of the things that I've been building was with Nuxt, and I have no issues with it, like nothing at all. It can do SPAs, it can skip Nitro, it can skip the server, and it will do exactly what you need, and you'll get all the helpers you want. So I think it's personal preferences. Don't you think, Daniel? It's a personal opinion.
Yeah, I disagree slightly with like if I'm building a dashboard page, and it's all just SPA stuff. And I'm working with an API. Like if I'm working with an existing API, to be honest, I don't care how simple it is. I'm just going to do Nuxt. Like every time. I don't care if I
Yeah.
even need separate pages. It's just less to think about. And the modules make it really easy.
But there is something here. Before you continue, I will
Yeah.
debate here. And I would say that the beautiful thing about on.js is that it provides you what Nuxt is using. So you get the $sign fetch outside of Nuxt using ofetch. So it's kind of, you can get pieces of Nuxt when you're using Vue.js.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you could replicate, and we do in the masterclass. We use a Vite plugin to do component auto imports. I think we use a Vite plugin to do auto imports of the like the internal Vue functions, right? Or not the internal, but the ref and reactive and all that.
Yeah, and the routes. We have auto routing with TypeScript support by Eduardo. So yeah, you can get pieces of Nuxt, the pieces that you want inside the app. But yeah, if you want to save your time, save, I would say your brain from having to go through all of the process, then definitely go for Nuxt. And like I said, I do use Nuxt for most of the projects.
One use case where I would not reach for Nuxt is if you have a if you're working with other technologies that aren't JavaScript related, something like PHP and Laravel, right? And you just want to add a little progressive enhancements here and there, or maybe not progressive enhancements, but maybe like little islands of interactivity more so. And something like that would be great for Vue. Using something like Inertia, or Mustafa's a little bit more knowledgeable about that. But yeah, if there's another technology, like if you're not getting to create the Vue project from scratch and like really just use Vue for the whole project, then something like omitting Nuxt from your Laravel project, I think makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah. Cool. We have other questions.
Yeah. So Mustafa, like these are actually showing up inside of StreamYard here, so I can show these on stage.
Cool.
So
we wish we have figured this out earlier.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read this one. So Raymond asks, what's the fastest way to get half decent with Vue.js? Is that by building something useful? I'm a beginner on Vue, but have a bit of an Angular background. Let me take this. I think that our free like fundamentals courses, the Vue.js fundamentals, and then the Vue.js fundamentals composition or components course is really where you should start. The cool thing is that during those courses, we're actually building like little tiny mini projects. Like the very first course is like a little shopping list. So we're using real world scenarios. It's not a complicated app, right? But it's a real world scenario where you get to learn the basics. So I would start there and maybe follow that beginner's path that's on the website. And that'll get you to the masterclass, and in the masterclass, that's where you're building that real world thing. Yeah.
I would like to add something here, like definitely what Daniel said, plus explore the previous events, the live events that has been done. I wouldn't say only by Vue School, by anyone, all of the core contributors, anyone who speaks about Vue.js in a live event, they are saying valuable stuff. So if you want to get good with Vue.js and you have already the knowledge, then you are qualified to listen to these talks. They are sharing tips and tricks. They are sharing different coding style. They are sharing patterns of how you write your components, composables, and so on. So watching these in your free time, maybe if you want to just clear your mind, step aside from coding for a while and watch something that might add to you, I would definitely recommend check out the events. On Vue School, for example, the channel on YouTube, you can find all the previous events. Just pick and choose. Like here, Evan is talking about this. Here, Daniel's talking about how to optimize this component. And those pieces
those are some good talks.
Sorry?
The ones I did, those are good ones. They're all good. They're all great.
Yeah. So yeah, those things, if you pick them, you're going to find that it's a 30 minutes video, so you can watch it anytime during the day. You can watch it and
Yeah.
pause and watch it later. So you are just free to fill your mind with information about Vue.js, and you will not get half decent. Actually, you will get to be an expert. And when you are compared to other people who doesn't keep up with the advances in Vue.js, you will actually win. So it's just a small tip that might make a difference.
Awesome. And by the way, Raymond, Evan came from Angular, from what I understand. Like the whole Vue was created because Evan was like, Angular could be better. So there are some similarities. Like I think you'll feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sarah asks, what courses do you recommend that would help building projects that would look good on a portfolio of a Vue.js developer? Masterclass for sure.
Absolutely.
For
Absolutely,
sure.
it's the masterclass. And not only the masterclass, like I think we have a lot of courses building things, like we're building projects. Our courses is not just like, unrelated lessons next to each other, teaching concepts and so on. No, most of the courses that we have is building web applications. I'm trying to open now the courses page because I don't know why on earth did I close it. But yeah, can you share my screen, Daniel?
Yes.
So this is the courses page. If we take a look here, this is the Vue.js masterclass. And as Daniel said, it's gonna be a great addition to your portfolio because the amount of texts and tools that you're using there, and you're using the entire Vue.js ecosystem, and you're proving that you actually can do stuff like advanced things, like handling errors in an efficient way, where you render an error page to the developer during development, but for the users in production, you render a completely different user-friendly error page. And those little things that are inside the Vue.js masterclass, if someone knows Vue, if someone actually knows web development, they will understand the value that you have learned. And you being able to follow up a course that big, completing it, and have the project live on your portfolio, it's a big thing. Like it is, someone took the time and the effort to learn a big course, implement it all by themselves, and have it on their portfolio. So that's the Vue.js masterclass. Another things that are going to be helpful is the Trello course that Daniel mentioned before. This one, drag and drop. Also, it covers a lot of concepts in Vue.js. It's going to be super cool when you have built a drag and drop board on your portfolio. And I think there are
that the one with the rocket ship on it, you were just look for the rocket ship. This is also, I think someone mentioned this earlier too as well, but this is another project-based course where you build a portfolio website. So I think somebody asked about building a portfolio website earlier, actually. And we pair, no, is it that one? Content sites with Astro and Vue.js. No, that's not it. Is there a story book or story block? Not storybook, not storybook, story block. This is this is the age-old developer. Is there not a story block? Where is it? Anyways, there's a course on there. Maybe it's Jamstack. There it is. Go down. I'm making it hard for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So Jamstack, the complete course. In this course, you build a portfolio website using Storyblock, which is what they call a headless CMS. And so what you're able to do is you're able to use Storyblock as a headless CMS as an easy way to manage content. Think of kind of like a WordPressy, like a user-friendly way to manage content, right? And then you can integrate that with a custom design site on the front end. In this case, a portfolio website. So that's a really good project-based course as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was talking about exactly. We have a lot of projects that you can build and add that tells everyone, hey, I know how to build real world projects, handling all of the aspects of it and taking the ownership of fixing the bugs and doing all of that. So definitely have a look at the courses page. And as I said, Remember, don't do that on the free weekend. Do that before so that you are prepared.
And Mustafa, also on the on that learning paths page, the first set of learning paths are all project-based. So I'll just read them off to you. These are all project-based things that you can do. So there's the Trello clone that we just mentioned. There's the AI social media post generator, which we mentioned a little bit earlier. There's the project management app, which is the masterclass. And then there's also a URL shortener. So in one of our courses, we build a URL shortener. It has like view count built in where you can record how many times somebody visits the URL and things like that. So there's plenty of project-based stuff on the platform.
Yep. Cool.
All right. Andre, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I apologize if I'm not. But so Andre asks, I recently migrated an application from Nuxt 2 to Nuxt 3. The AI was helpful. Great.
Nice.
Yeah, AI is definitely it's getting there.
Yeah.
I'm using it. I'm using it. I don't feel like it's replacing me yet, but I'm using it.
Yeah, me too.
Could you talk a bit about Quasar?
We did at the beginning of the live, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Go back and check out the beginning a little bit later.
But FYI, we have a course about Quasar. Like, it's really cool, and check it out. Something is going on with the platform now, but other than that, we have a course about Quasar. It's taught by Luke, so it's definitely worth checking out. It's an in-depth course, so plan carefully how are you going to go about that during the free weekend. But yeah, we do have a course about Quasar.
Awesome. Rich says, good information. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rich. Appreciate it. So Marlon asks, any advice for Vue certification? Which would be a good choice? That's a great question. So obviously let me come back on stage here. Obviously the fundamentals courses here for fundamentals with the composition API, component fundamentals with the composition API. These are going to cover concepts that you'll see on the mid-level Vue.js certification. And actually, this entire beginner's learning path, we've really geared towards helping prepare you for the Vue.js certification. Oh, excuse me.
No worries.
Go ahead, Masaz.
Bless you. Cool. So
talking is hard, y'all.
Yeah.
But so yeah, definitely those courses. All four of these courses, all five of these courses, really. You could learn some from the Vue.js masterclass, obviously, as well for the certification. But to be a little bit more focused, I would focus on some of these courses. And then the other course for the Vue.js certification, which is actually super helpful, is this common Vue.js mistakes and how to avoid them course. But don't take this on the free weekend. This is free all the time. But this, yeah, just take my word for it. This is a really good watch if you're taking the Vue.js certification.
Mm. Cool. That's a very nice tip. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, just one more here from Ryan. Oh, I'm sorry, this is not a question. So he mentions that there is a full preparation guide that will help you in a full training guide. Excellent point, Ryan. So there are materials that you can purchase that come along with the actual Vue.js certification to help you prep as well. They're not video based though. That is one difference. All the learning materials you get from the certification platform are exercise and reading based. So some of these courses that we have can supplement you if you're more of a video learner.
Yep. I think that's all, right?
Yes, that's all the questions I see.
Yeah, we made it 20 extra minutes, but those were very good questions. Like enjoyed answering them. And that will be the end of our stream today. I hope that we were able to help you get the most out of free weekend. And please note that we're always there. Like, feel free to reach out on social media accounts, whether Vue School social media accounts or me or Daniel. We will be happy to answer your questions about anything related to Vue School. And yeah, would you like to say anything, Daniel?
Sneak in one last question. Will there be any promotions, of course, for courses after the free weekend? There will be. Free weekend is the promotion, right? So
I'm sure there will. Like, we always do things like that. Like, definitely check it out on our, like, just keep our website open, like vueschool.io open, and just keep refreshing, and you are going to see offers all the time. So that's something that you can do. But definitely you're gonna find out that we are offering something there.
Yeah. All right. No, that's it for me. Thank you all so very much for being here. Really enjoyed having you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. We will see you in another live stream, and thank you so much.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.